Hello guys, Wildkard. Kia ora. My name is Wildkard and welcome to my channel. Thank you for subscribing and following my stupid content. I really do appreciate it. If you do like to support me with some coffee, hit the join button. Otherwise, subscribe and post some comments. I will reply to you whenever I get around to it. Now, this is the epitome of rugby grudge matches. This is the biggest rivalry in the world of union. New Zealand versus South Africa in rugby championship. Now, these two teams absolutely hate each other, okay? There's nothing more disappointing to the Afrikaners if New Zealand beats them in rugby, okay? Which means they've been disappointed quite a lot, especially in recent years. And there's nothing more that New Zealand will hate than beating the South Africans, okay? Maybe losing to Australia, that would probably be worse. But that aside, this is the biggest competition in world rugby. This is the biggest rivalries, the biggest grudge matches. The players absolutely hate each other. The hatred runs super deep for these two teams. And yeah, I'm just, as an Australian fan, as the rugby fan, I'm just going to sit back, have my coffee, and watch people getting stretched off the field and enjoy the match, okay? Now, going into this match, there's a lot to kind of talk about. The stats is favoring the New Zealand. This is the 100th test, historical match, 100 year as well, just happens to be. And this is just, everything seems to favor New Zealand quite a bit, the stats. New Zealand has scored more points than South Africa, 2,050 to 1,580. New Zealand also has won more matches, 59 test matches won, 36 matches test won for South Africa, and only 4 draws. Is this going to be a draw this weekend? I hope not. I don't want to see a draw. Everybody loses if that's a draw, okay? And also the biggest margin for New Zealand was in 2007 in New Zealand. The biggest loss to South Africa ever, 57 points to nil. Yeah, this was pretty bad. And South Africa, the biggest win for South Africa was in 1928. Oh my god. At that's almost 100 years ago. Oh, that's a generation ago. 2 generations ago. Oh my god. The people who were in this match are not even alive anymore. 17 points to nil over New Zealand. So yeah, its history is stacked against the Springboks. But the Springboks are the world champions. And the last time the Springboks did beat New Zealand was in New Zealand, in fact, in Wellington. 33 points to 36 in 2018. And since then, has been some pretty close matches. A draw, a 2-point loss at home, and a pretty close match in the Rugby World Cup pool stages. And that is it. So the two teams haven't played for 2 years. South Africa won the Rugby World Cup after losing to New Zealand in the World Cup, in the pool stages. So a lot of Kiwis are pretty grumpy about that. You know, they beat the South Africans, and yeah, the South Africans went on to win the World Cup. So the Kiwis felt like they well deserved to win the cup instead. Pretty disappointed on that. And also the Springboks haven't played in 2020, but when they did come back this year, they have played a really tough Lions series against probably one of the best Lions teams ever in the history of the Lions tour. One of the, it was so stacked, the Lions team. Players like Owen Farrell couldn't even get a start in the team. And it was quite impressive to beat the Lions team. And then the South Africans traveled to Australia after beating Argentina. And they had a pretty shocking couple games coming in leading into this match against New Zealand. Against Australia, in the first match, South Africa won pretty much in every aspect of the game. But the goal kicking from Hardrick Pollard let them down, which led to Australia able to squeeze out a very close upset, 2 points. But in the second match, South Africa truly got dominated by Australia, lost in every aspect of the game, end up with a 30-17 loss to the Australians. Was this 30-17 or was this lower than that? Anyway, leading to a quite convincing loss to Australia. And that is, alarm clock ringing. The Springboks coach came out and apologized to the nation for losing to Australia. So pretty desperate times for the Springboks. They have been criticized a lot for their kicking strategy and very risk averse game plan where they revolve heavily around defense, heavily around forcing penalties with their so-called bomb squad with an extra forward off the bench. to force those penalties to get those extra 3 points on the board. It worked quite well for them against the Lions, but against Australia, just didn't work out. 100 Pollard's kicking let them down, and also Australia was prepared for the overwhelming dominance on the 4-pack and managed it really well in the 4-pack. So not really having that extra 4 didn't give didn't give the Springboks that extra bit of advantage that they were looking for, which really led to them losing. So as a result of that, the Springboks did shuffle up their strategy. For this game, they're not running the bomb squad, so they're running 5 forwards and 3 backs instead of 6 forwards, 2 backs. So it gives the Springboks a little bit more maneuverability on the back line in the second half. And we shall look at the exact lineup. Who do they bring in for that extra back, you may ask? So we shall look at that in a minute. Whilst for another thing, also a bit of bad news as well. So Jasper Wiese was cited for a potential red card, so he had to go to hearing, but the hearing was delayed. So his hearing, he was cleared from the hearing, but the hearing occurred after the team selection by the Springboks. I thought the Springboks always announced the team quite early, so because they wanted to spend the rest of the week training the combinations, so he wasn't selected for the team. And then whilst the South Africans are trying to patch up a sinking ship, the New Zealand's trying to quickly sell out. So another bit of news coming out of New Zealand for their deal, trying to sell out the national treasure, sell out the biggest asset of the nation. I love like how New Zealand have these ads that says like this travel ad that says like 100% Kiwi. After they sell it, we can finally say like not 100% Kiwi the All Blacks. That'll be very ironic actually. So the deal is still being blocked by the players. I really hope they don't sell, because the New Zealand rugby is just like poor management. Like the poor managers wants to sell off the business that they run under. Just fire the people that's running the business into the ground. It's just that simple. But yeah, anyway, they're looking at, instead of selling 12%, and now they've got an approval for 7.5%. So I think the players union is still blocking it. Initially we're off for 12%. Now it's yeah, so they're getting closer, but they're still getting blocked by the players union. But anyway, so yeah, whilst everybody's trying to play rugby, New Zealand's trying to sell off. Okay, now going into this game, I checked this time. Okay, last week I was quite embarrassing. I said Australia versus was this last week or 2 weeks ago? Anyway, 2 weeks ago I said Australia versus South Africa was played in Townsville, which was completely wrong. It was played in the Gold Coast. So I checked to make sure that the Queensland Country Bank Stadium is in Townsville indeed. So I'm pretty confident to say this, that it's gonna be, that weather could have been a big issue coming into this game. It's an afternoon game this time, so it's 5 p.m. It's gonna be 24, 25 degrees in the afternoon on Saturday. Oh, is this Sunday? Did I click on Sunday? Saturday, yeah. So it's about 24, 25 degrees in 5 p.m. in the afternoon. Quite hot. Humidity super high, 65%. So yeah, I know some of the All Blacks players especially don't like the heat. And there are some people talking about how the South Africans don't like the heat as well. So this is going to be a really painful match for both teams. In the heat, in the humidity of North Queensland. I know Joe Moody has come out publicly stating that he hates the heat. He thinks the rugby is a winter sport. And yeah, anyway, we shall see how that goes. Now, let's get into the lineup. I'm saying New Zealand have truly brought in their big guns into this game. Big boys, except for Joe Moody, who hates the heat. So he should probably get back to the kitchen and get off the field if it's too hot for him on the field. But anyway, Joe Moody, he's back. He started last week. He's been a bit injured all year. And then he's finally back at the starting spot at the elusive tight pot position. 52 test caps, quite big boy, 188 centimeters, 120 kilos of frame. He's up against Franz Malherbe, who has been slacking off a little bit with his form. He was much better during the Rugby World Cup. He's been struggling a bit against the Lions, struggled a bit against Australia. He had lost tight head to Australians. So not really good. So Tom Banks have to step up against Joe Moody. But I mean, it's probably going to be too hot for Joe Moody to even want to pack a scrum. So he's probably just going to pass out, halfway through the game and just come off the field like 30 minutes. Yeah, maybe fake an injury or something. I don't know. Who knows how this is going to go. But Joe Moody is back. Franz Mahebe, big task ahead for him. And we shall see how these two sweaty guys get ahead of each other. Cody Taylor also was back in the number 2 position. Probably the most informed hooker in the world at the moment. Up against Bungi Bunabi, who's also a very solid performer for the South Africans. Pretty good scrummaging, pretty good line out. It's pretty much what you can ask for the South Africans. Nipo Laulala gets his number 3 spot. The Blues tight hair prop, very dominant performance in the Super Rugby and very good against Australia as well at a tight hair position. He's up against Trevor Nyake, who just came back last week against Australia. Trevor Nyake was really, really, really good in the Lions tour, but last week against Australia not so good. Not as dominant as you would like against the Tongan Thor. Nipo Laulala is very good, so I'm not sure how this scrum's going to hold up. If Joe Moody decides to get out of the kitchen and get onto the field, we might see the All Blacks dominate this one. But, if the heat really gets to Joe Moody, then we don't know what's going to happen. But I would say the edge goes to the All Blacks in the front row here. Second rowers, Ibn Isbeth against Brodie Retallick, the greatest of all time. And Ibn Isbeth, I think he's like, everybody hates him so much. He's such a, can't say that word on YouTube, in the racks, just everywhere on the field. It's just an absolute like pain to work with. He just likes to maul on you, grind on you. Such a tough person to deal with. Brodie Retallick is just one of those physical guys as well. Just likes to belt you with his physicality. So yeah, interesting matchup here. Scott Red Cut Barrett can't consider the red card anymore because his brother's taken that from him. So Scott Barrett, the future All Blacks captain. When is that gonna happen? I don't know, but maybe next year. I'll have Scott Barrett back at number 5 position. He's up against Luke Diega, who's back from a head knock. So he didn't play last week, but Diega is also Luke Diega and Ibn Isbeth. The duo combination, probably the toughest, best duo combination in the lock position. So Scott Barrett, if he wants to be the All Blacks captain, this is his opportunity to step up. Okay, so Scotty, balls in your hand, and then balls in your court rather. Actually, no, in your hand because we're rugby here. We're not playing tennis. Anyway, and then the loose hair combination, Akira Ioane and the number 6. Adi Sevilla moves to number 8 to number open side flanker, and Luke Jacobson comes back in at number 8 position for the All Blacks. Whilst the Springboks made up one change in the second in the loose 4 position. They have opted out to play a third line-out jumper, a third second rower in the sense of Monstered. So they move Monstered out to the bench and move Huaka Smith, who's actually more of a agile forward, agile loose forward, who can get to the breakdown, really high work rate kind of player to get to the breakdown and really force some penalties and force some pace to the attacking options. So Huaka Smith really comes in, bringing that extra bit of pace to the Springbok loose forwards. And Huaka Smith, also former Sevens player, extremely quick with the ball as well. So yeah, so they're definitely changing a bit of a strategy here, opting for a more higher paced in the loose forwards. Sia Khaleesi is the open side flanker, because the South Africans plays left and right. So Sia Khaleesi is actually the open side, the captain himself, the workhorse. And he's the guy that never takes a break. He plays every game. He does not take a break. So he will play until he retires. Absolute. So yeah, he's at open side. So Huaka Smith is at the blind side, up against Akira Ioane, and then Duan van der Merwe. Van der Merwe. I'm thinking about. Anyway, we'll talk about him another time. So Duan Vermeulen. The Thor is at number 8 with his super good turnovers at the breakdown work. We shall see how he good. So in the loose forward matchup, I do like they're having a bit of pace with Huaka Smith. I think it's a pretty even matchup. I think maybe in terms of experience, the Springboks might have a bit of advantage over here. It all comes down to how much pace can Huaka Smith inject into the loose forwards, and maybe the Springboks can get a bit of edge in that front. In the back line, We have TJ Pieranara, Bowden Barrett combination again. It was pretty flat against the Argentinians 2 weeks ago. So I don't like this combination. I think TJ Pieranara is better coming off the bench. Yeah, but this is the combination they've settled with. TJ Pieranara and Bowden Barrett. Bowden Barrett hasn't been performing quite as well as everybody wanted to see. His kicking has been pretty off. So Jordie Barrett will be kicking. And also Bowden Barrett, his attacking is a bit flat. And he's also getting himself caught out of position a little bit. So there was a bit of brilliance against Argentina when Bowden Barrett did show and set up a couple tries. But overall, I feel like he is a little bit flat. We shall see how he fares against Handré Pollard in this match. TJ Pieranara, as well. Maybe a little bit flat. I don't know. I'm not sure these two guys are clicking as well as you would like to see. Anyway, so Faf de Klerk, Handré Pollard, a very well tested combination for the Springboks. Faf de Klerk, box kick extremely well. Handré Pollard, also really good at long range kicking and penalty kicks. Is probably the one thing that Handré Pollard needs to work on. And also Handré Pollard needs to work on his tackling. If Handré Pollard don't miss like 2 tackles that leads into 2 tries, this should be okay. So Handré Pollard, it's like he remembered how to kick and then he forgot how to tackle. Like that's basically what happened last week. So yeah, this is a big, again, so both number 10s aren't really quite at their best. So that's kind of like evened out a little bit. But Handré Pollard, tackling, goal kicking, tackling, goal kicking. That's all he should be doing in training. And hopefully he's going to bring a better game this time against the All Blacks. Faf de Klerk, always been pretty brilliant. His box kick and his kick behind is just really, really good at spotting space. I wouldn't be surprised to see Faf de Klerk go for one of the 50-22s this time and probably get one against the All Blacks, maybe. So in the number 11 position, I am surprised by this selection from the All Blacks in particular. George Bridge secures the number 11 jersey over Seville Reece. Is Seville Reece injured? I couldn't find any news on him being injured. But yeah, George Bridge. I was not impressed by his performance against Argentina. I thought it was terrible. He missed a couple of opportunities where the All Blacks should have scored, and he didn't. He literally had no confidence in himself to score the try, and resulted in not scoring actually. So yeah, I was very surprised. George Bridge, not very good. Not very good at wing, especially compared to Seville Reece. So he gets the number 11 jersey, and Seville Reece is not even on the bench. So yeah, someone let me know what the hell is happening here. Fozzie, what the hell is going on here, mate? He's up against Marco Zola Mapimpi, who has been underperforming a little bit, not as good as he has been against the Lions, against Australia. So Mapimpi needs to lift his game a little bit as well. Probably not to do with his performance, probably more to do with the Springboks not utilizing him with the backline. So we should talk about the backline. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, let's go on a little bit. So Dave Havili comes back in at number 12 position. He's solidified himself in number 12 jersey. And Rico Ioane comes in number 13. I thought Rico plays better at wing, especially in this season. He's played a lot better at wing. Number 13, I thought Anton Leonard-Brown probably could be number 13. George Bridge. I don't understand why he's here at number 11. They probably should have ran Anton Leonard-Brown at number 13 and probably put Rico 11. That's probably the best combination for the All Blacks. And then have Seville Reece coming off the bench maybe. But if you want to run Rico at 13, Seville Reece definitely should be at 11. I don't know what's going on here. So this is really, really weird. Will Jordan. It's a center combination for the Springboks. Damien De Allende, Luke Camioyan. Both guys has played really well against the Lions, but has been very underwhelming against the Aussies. Not really doing much. The defense has been poor. They've been hugely criticized by the Springbok media for should have been dropped. De Allende has been is a really, really damaging and brutalizing ball runner. Has been really, really good at taking the Springboks over the advantage line, especially in the Lions test. But he's just not did that. He has not done that at all against Australia. And his defense has been poor as well. So De Allende really needs to lift up this game. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. And I wish I see maybe the Springboks is prepared to change the center combination a little bit with one of the additions. They put in basically Francois Stein. Yes, Francois Stein on the bench. So maybe he's looking at putting one of these guys off the field in the second half. We shall see how that goes. But yeah, and again, the poor I guess the poor performance in the center position has led to Mapimpi not really getting any opportunity, has led to Nkosi at number 14 not getting opportunity as well. So yeah, we shall see how this goes. I'm not too sure how this is gonna. Yeah, we shall see. The players, the combination is the World Cup winning combination, but they really need to lift up the games, to be honest. And number 14, Will Jordan for the All Blacks, the best winger by hands down for the All Blacks. Extremely good kicking, extremely good running, extremely good support game. Just getting over the advantage line, everything you want for the winger. Will Jordan, hats off to you, my man. You are truly the best in the All Blacks now, in the back line. And then up against Subu Nkosi, who is stepping in for injured, what's his name? Cheslin Kobe. So again, Nkosi hasn't been nearly impactful as Cheslin Kobe, especially in challenging the high balls and the counter attacks. So without Cheslin Kobe, maybe that's why the Springboks lacked a bit of a flair in attacking, because Cheslin Kobe is their biggest threat on the field in the rugby world, the best winger in the world by like a nautic mile, to the fact that the entire South African backline relies on him to create opportunity and attack and challenging those high balls. So Nkosi isn't really doing as much as, yes, not nearly as good as Kobe. And in terms of challenging those high balls, not nearly as effective as well. So Nkosi needs to lift up his game as well for the Springboks. And a fullback position, Jordie Barrett, Willie LaRue, very even matchup. I do think that Jordie Barrett is the cream of the crop of the Barrett family, whilst Beauden is the black sheep at the moment. So Jordie Barrett's taken over the kicking duties over the Beauden Barrett as well, and he's been doing quite well, quite high kicking percentage. Willie LaRue, very good managing the ball around the backfield, very good kicker, very good return kicker, very good kicking game. So that's pretty good matchup there, and interesting to see how the high ball's gonna be handled between these two players. Beauden Barrett, mate, needs to lift, mate, needs to lift. In the substitutions, this is probably some of the more interesting stuff that came into both teams. So in the front rows, we have Takiaho stays at his hooker position. He's up against Malcolm Marks. Again, looking to make that impactful play coming off the bench. Kyle Tuinukuafe gets moved back down to the looser position, probably to match up against Vincent Koch, who's been very dominant coming off the bench. So Kyle Tuinukuafe, in my opinion, is probably better than Joe Moody. I think he's better than Joe Moody, but he's on the bench, probably trying to stabilize the scrum again. And again, Ofa Tuangafasi, probably, one of the most dominant props for the New Zealanders, plays for the Blues. So he is he playing the Blues at the moment? I thought he played, maybe he's changing teams now. But anyway, I think he's back from injury. He hasn't played at all this year. So he's back from injury. Again, he's going to be a very, very tough to deal with for Kitsoff at number 17 spot for the Springboks. Vincent Koch at number 18. So again, I don't know. The Springboks strategy of having the forward dominance coming off the bench, probably not going to happen up against Tuinukuafe and Tuangafasi, to be honest. So I think the Springboks is neutralized in that front there as well. And in the number 19 position, both teams have opted for a second rower. Lionel jump up for that position. Patrick Tuipulotu, hat-trick. Tuipulotu comes in at number 19. Franco Moster gets moved down from a flanker position to number 19. So he's probably going to come on as a second rower for Lou Diega. I would assume instead of for flanker for Quagga Smith. Maybe he will do that as well. I'm not too sure. But Ethan Blackadder gets another nod in the substitution spot. Number 20 spot. He's up against Marco van Staden at number 20 position, who will come on as a loose forward, probably for Sia Khaleesi. At number 21, the halfback for the All Blacks, Brad Weber at number 21, while Herschel Yankees at number 21 for the Springboks. D-Mac is a optional number 22. He's probably going to come on for Beauden Barrett in the second half. Unless something happens to Jordie Barrett, then D-Mac will come in at number 15. Especially when, Jordie Barrett's actually doing all the kicking. Maybe we'll see Jordie Barrett move into number 10. All right, and truly take over the Barrett family as the best player in the Barrett family. and have D-Mac at number 15. Maybe. I don't know. Fozzie. Maybe Fozzie? We'll see. Anyway, Elton Yenshis comes in at number 22, going on for Hendrik Pollard for the second half, because Pollard does have a bit of an issue, especially in the second half, with his consistency. Maybe endurance is an issue for Pollard. And then on number 23, Quinn Tupaia for the All Blacks. He probably will come in for Rico, and Rico will go in, will not come off, but Rico will go to a number 11 position for George Bridge. So that's the most likely situation for Quinn Tupaia. Francois Stein. It's my hero. The reason I had this jersey is because Francois Stein, okay? This guy was winning Rugby World in 2007 whilst I was living in my mum's basement. That hasn't changed. That has not changed very much, looks like. But yeah, Francois Stein, he's back at number 23. I'm a bit surprised for this selection. I do think Valemsa. So in the Springboks, they listed him as a utility back. So he could potentially come in for Lukamiyo at number 13. Maybe number 12 for Damien Delande if the two players underperforms. But I think the fact that they called him a utility, he's probably going to come in for Billy LaRue at the fullback position. I'm not sure. But I'm surprised to see Franz Stein in here because his kicking has not been that great in long range kicking. When he played the Pumas, his long range kicking didn't land a single shot. I think he landed a single kick. He attempted like 3 or 4 times maybe. Didn't land a single one. Long range kicks. So I don't know why he's here. They probably would be able to put a Monet Stein here if they wanted to secure that long range kicking for those 3 points. So, but for center position, I don't know. Franz Stein he did okay against the, he did okay at the inside center position against the Pumas, but earlier this year when he played against Georgia in the inside center position, he played really poorly. He was really, really poor at the breakdown, gave away a lot of penalties at the breakdowns. So he did improve from that, but there is a tendency for him to get away penalties at the breakdowns. So he's not that clinical, and if he comes off in the second half and gives away a bunch of penalties at the breakdown, that could cost him the game. So I don't know, why is he here? And again, does he really need to replace Billy LaRue? No, he's definitely coming in for Damien Delande. And he doesn't bring the long-range kicking that you probably will want. I don't know. What's going on here? I don't know. I thought they'd probably be better off having Monet Stein to come in like they did in the third test against the Lions to secure that kicking. And then have Valemsa to at number 15 to chase those high balls. But Francois Stein's definitely not as fit as he used to be. Definitely not as fast as he used to be. And definitely not as good as he used to be under those high balls, chasing those high balls, putting pressure on those high balls. So I don't know what's going on here, guys. Let me know what you think, how this game is going to go. It does look like the All Blacks have a bit of edge over the Springboks, especially coming off 2 losses against Australia. And and also the not playing the bomb squad. And Francois Stein, mate, don't you dare let me down. Don't you dare let me down, boy. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And see you guys a bit later for Wallabies versus Pumas. Cheers.